Today you're going to learn how to create a pill and how to make this animation to open the pill in two parts. Can be a pill or any object. So let's delete everything, and first let's create this pill. So to create a pill, we need to go to Add, Mesh, and click here. If you don't have these options, probably you don't have it, you have to go to Edit, Preference, Add-ons, and Add Mesh, Extra Mesh. You have to enable this option. Add Mesh Extra Objects. Now if you go to Add Mesh, you will find other options. Let's click to Round Cube. And let's open this. So first, we need to increase the size in the axis. So let's increase here. For example, something like that. And now click here in Radius. And you will notice that the top and the bottom is being more round. If you want perfect round, just add one value. Now let's increase the resolution. So here in Arc, just add more and more. For example, 20 is okay. Click here, and now we have this object that looks like a pill. Really easy to do. Now click outside and you will lose this panel. Before we split this object into parts, we need to edit. So select the object, go to Edit, and as you can notice here, we don't have any edges. So we need at least to have one to open this object. So go to Loop Cut, and let's cut here, and now increase this. For example, something like that. Whatever you want. At least we have a middle ring. So I think 17 is a nice number. I think it's better to add an odd number. So something like 15, 17, 19. So we have a medial ring. Look, if I click here, you can see it. In the y-axis, we have a ring in the middle. So it's better to split this object into parts. Okay, perfect. Now we can go out and go to Geometry Nodes. So let's go to Geometry Nodes, close this. Let's create a new profile, and I'm going to close this. So to split this object, or any object, there are a lot of ways to do it, but what I'm going to do, basically, is to select half part and delete it, and then select the other part. So to delete half part, what you have to do is to add delete geometry. Now, if we add it, everything is deleted. So what we have to do is to delete based in the position. So in the z-axis. So in selection, we need to work with position. And we need to separate this in the three axes. So let's add separate. And we are going to work with z-axis. So now we have this. Okay, perfect. We have half. And now we need to do the same, but with the other part. Actually, if you have a symmetrical object, we could just duplicate this and rotate it. But let's do it like that so we learn other tricks. So we have one part here. I'm going to add join geometry. And now we need to do the same. So now let's duplicate this with Shift D. So this will be, for example, the bottom, and this will be the top. Let's reconnect this to this part and connect it here. So now we have the same. So let's cut this so we don't confuse it. And how we can invert this? What we can do is to, let me move this point here, is, for example, to add here a math node. So we can control how much we want to delete this. And now what we have to do is to multiply that by a negative number. So let's duplicate this, Shift D. And if we add multiply and we make it negative, for example, -1, we have the other part. Click here to see if it's perfectly aligned. As you can see now it's passing a bit. So I want it here. So just click here until it's perfect. If you leave it like 0, sometimes can be like that, so it depends. Now let's reconnect the other to see if both match. I'm going to disconnect this one to see if it's perfect. Okay, everything is perfect. So let's reconnect this. And now we have two parts. So the only thing we need to do now is just to add two transforms here. So let's add transform, one here, and let's duplicate, another here. And the only thing we have to do is to move the Z. This one is the top, so we need to move this up, and this one down. Easy peasy. But I want to move both at the same time. So what I'm going to do is to use the same control. So let's separate this axis with a combine. And actually, I'm going to reuse this. So, oops, let me make this bigger. Let's reconnect this here. And what we're going to do, no, actually, I think it's better to duplicate. And now let's add a value to control both at the same time, Z and Z. However, we have to do this one negative, by the way. Z is here. So let's add another math node. Here, multiply by -1. So every time you multiply one number by -1, is the same number by negative. So we will get this Z in negative. So now, if we click here, look, we are opening this pill in two parts. So we can create this animation. Let's select 0, insert keyframe, open this, and for example, let's go here and open a bit this. For example, something like that. And insert a new keyframe. And if we go to begin, we have this animation. And if you want to improve the animation, what you can do is to go to Graph Editor. Let's open this and let's select here because we need to see the keyframes. So to see this better, just click here. And now you can tweak these handles to, for example, start fast and later slow down. Or just try the animation you want. Let's try slow and later fast. Okay, I don't like it too much. Or let's try, for example, fast, slow, and fast. So if we exaggerate this shape, in theory it's fast, slow, so this. Sometimes it's just trying until you learn how it works. If you want a tutorial about animation, you can ask me and I will do it. But for now it's just to practice. And here you can show something inside. For example, let's add a sphere or any object. Let's join geometry and let's make it smaller. I'm going to click here and open a new tab to select the timeline. So here I have both controls, the graph editor and this. So we have this animation. I don't really like how fast opens. So what I'm going to do is to slow down this a bit. Something like that, not too much. I'm doing this really fast. You have to do it really slow to smooth the animation, but you get the idea. By the way, let's add some colors because this is really boring. So let's go to Material View. And this one, the top, I'm going to add Set Material. Let's add it here. And this one will be the top red. So let's create a material. Select here, New Material, Red. Something like that. And let's go here. This one red. And this one white. I think we have white. Just in case, let's select this one. You can play with different values to give different textures. Actually, I'm going to do the same with the red one. I'm going to do both metallics. And if you don't want to see these polygons, just add at the end shade smooth. And now you have a really smooth pill. And this animation. And actually, I'm going to make this glow. So let's add a material here. And let's create a new one. And I'm going to make it emission. By the way, we need to select the third one. And let's go to render, activate bloom. And we have this cool animation. Like surprise. Look inside the pill. If you enjoyed this video, give a like, subscribe, and you can download this project and many more in my Patreon. So, see you next video.